So today we're struggling a little bit. Today's gonna be a rough day. I have fallen out of the same chair 3 times.
Hello, welcome to Mad Fridays. It's a great day to be a Gale. Megan and
But
I.
it's not a great day to be a Megan or an Abby because we are
It's a great
struggling.
day. We got our lives together today. Megan totally didn't just fall out of a chair.
Almost April Fool's. April Fool's a week later.
Yeah, basically. I mean, happy April Fool's Day, guys. After an entire week.
Because our lives are jokes.
Not wrong. All right, so here's a joke for you. Son of a Brexit.
I'm just.
Yep.
Abby has been saying like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna make this best joke. Like, we're gonna be so funny." And then she told me like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, Abby, please, please, please get your life.
I'm very proud of myself for that.
You shouldn't be.
Well, I am. So fight me. Okay. Cool. Also, the whole Brexit thing is
Alarming?
it's happening.
Yeah.
The UK formally began their withdrawal from the European Union last Wednesday. Prime Minister Theresa May officially triggered Article 50, which begins a 2-year process to formally remove the UK from the EU. In this time, the UK will have to renegotiate trade agreements, immigration agreements, and diplomatic agreements with all countries of the UE. The split comes among controversy, which may split up the UK itself, with Scotland and Northern Ireland voting overwhelmingly to stay in the EU and threatening to leave the UK to rejoin the EU. So that's a bit of a mess for them. Scotland and Northern Ireland are... Scotland voted to stay in the UK 2 years ago, I think it was, very recently.
It was our senior year of high school. So yeah, like
2 years ago. Very recently, and they voted just barely to stay in the EU, which I'm not the EU, the UK, United Kingdom. Just very narrowly. I think it was 51-49 or something to stay. And they're now reconsidering that whole vote again because being not in the EU means that they have to completely change their trade agreements and all of that and immigration. And so Scotland and Ireland are not having it. A little bit of a funny thing about this, though, it's very... I'm just going to quote CNN on this because I think that they worded it perfectly. This is from the night of. At the headquarters of the European Council Wednesday morning, Barrow, who was the person carrying the official announcement that the UK had triggered Article 50, emerged from a black Jaguar holding a briefcase containing the letter signed by May in Downing Street on Tuesday night. His route had been kept secret in an effort to avoid any attempts to intercept the letter. Now, that just seems like an amazing...
Sounds like some James Bond nonsense.
Yeah, oh my god. That is literally the best part of this. The delivering of the letter is probably the best part of this entire story.
I'm just picturing him kind of singing his own theme music, dun 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 dun, have a EU, bye, gotta go.
Bye, EU. Seriously, it's just they kept the route secret, came out of a black Jaguar, hello world, it is I, got a briefcase with one letter in it.
Greetings and salutations, goodbye.
The letter's one paragraph long, too, and it's so funny. There's this great picture of him, handing the letter to, Tursk?
Wait, no,
the guy who the chairman
EU.
of the EU, and they're shaking hands and handing the letter, and Barrow, the guy that's delivering the letter, he looks just so pleased with himself, and Tusk is just why are you leaving? What are you doing?
Bye.
Why is this so dramatic? It's I found it funny. Moving on to something from this week, the United States formally blamed the regime in Syria on Tuesday for the gas attack, which killed at least 80 civilians and left 250 people sick or injured, many of them children. This is the largest attack in Syria, chemical attack in Syria since 2013, when 1,000 people were killed from exposure to sarin, supposedly from exposure to sarin gas, a banned toxin. President Donald Trump has placed blame on former President Barack Obama because in 2013, Obama made the claim that he would not tolerate any use of chemical warfare in the then 3-year-long Syrian civil war. President Assad of Syria then reportedly used sarin gas on civilians, and in response, Obama didn't do anything. And President Trump ordered airstrikes over Syria yesterday. He announced last night that the U.S. had struck the airbase from which the attack had been launched. So basically, Trump actually has grounds to kind of blame Obama on this one. Kind of. Because Obama let Assad... Oh, what's that? My computer's doing a thing. I don't even know.
Skip it. Everything's fine.
Obama said that he would draw a red line in the sand, and that is a line of which Syria cannot cross in this civil war. And chemical weapons are banned in international warfare anyways by the UN, but President Obama didn't do anything in the 2013 attack that Assad launched. And that set precedent that President Trump now is trying to overturn. So
Okay.
yeah, there was a lot of really disturbing pictures that I saw in researching this story. A lot of pictures of children, a lot of people with like burns or rashes on their face, and yeah, this was a massive attack. And in this like 6-year-long civil war, there's been a lot of war crimes committed by the Assad regime, and it's gonna be really, really hard for us to kind of negotiate this, because Assad's currently backed by Russia and Iran, two people that we don't have really great international relationships with right now. But like, Trump's trying to get a better relationship with Russia, but I really don't think that this is going to help him. So we'll have to see how this all plays out in the coming days. Next up, moving over to Russia, a bomb went off in a subway station in St. Petersburg, Russia on Monday. 14 people were killed and 64 injured. Russian President Vladimir Putin was in St. Petersburg at the time and went to the site of the bombing. On Tuesday, a young Kyrgyzstan native was named as a suspect in the bombing. According to security footage and DNA evidence, the investigative committee of Russia said they believe he had blown himself up. There are unconfirmed reports, according to the New York Times, of other suspects being pursued by Russian intelligence, and an investigation into whether the suspect was radicalized. The New York Times also gave quotes describing the gory results, which included screws in people's heads and like through the windows and stuff, sharp nail like everywhere. Pretty graphic images that were accompanying that story right out of Russia. Vladimir Putin went actually to the station to like kind of see what was going on and comfort some people. And apparently St. Petersburg is actually where his hometown, where he's originally from. So obviously it was a timed attack since he was there talking with leaders in the area. Now back to the United States. After multiple hearings, the final confirmation of Judge Neil Gorsuch by the Supreme Court is set for today. After Senate Republicans voted yesterday to confirm him, in doing so, they had to they voted to abolish the filibuster on Supreme Court nominations, which basically means that someone can stand and talk for as many hours as they can stand to try and push off a vote or stop a vote, since the Senate has unrestrained or unrestricted debate time. There's no limit that's put on that. And so they voted yesterday to lower the number of votes needed to confirm a Supreme Court nominee from 60 to a simple majority, which would be 51. And Democrats filibustered Gorsuch's nomination, and a lot of people are kind of on all sides of the argument of whether it was useful for them to filibuster Gorsuch, because there are a lot of people that are saying yes, that seat should have been filled by the person nominated by President Obama in his last year, Merrick Garland, and that was the reason that the Democrats gave for filibustering, because they believe that was a seat that should have been filled by Garland. But there are other people who say that they should have waited because it was a conservative seat anyways, and they kind of gave up a playing card. And then there were people that said, no, they should just let this nominee through because the president chose him. And obviously, if the president chose him, obviously he would be a good choice, is one of the sides of the arguments. So there's a lot of different emotions around now. Gorsuch will now probably be most likely be confirmed as the newest Supreme Court justice, taking the seat of Antonin Scalia. This is the longest running open Supreme Court seat in American history. So it'll be good to have that filled. We can start getting decisions made. There's been multiple tons of ties in the Supreme Court. So that ruling is the ruling held by the lower court that they were in first holds in that case. So we're going to take a quick break from all of this news stuff. I've got a few more news stories when we come back, and then we've got our usual music news.
Greetings.
and all that other jazz. We'll get to other stuff later in the show.
Huzzah.